Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Systems Rescue Power Hour, where we build a business that can run without you. I am so glad you're here today. So, we are talking about internal team communication that actually works and frees you all up to be serving your clients at the highest level. So this is the case where this is one of those topics where it seems pretty simple and on the surface, but when communication is unclear or inconsistent or scattered in different places, it can create a lot of unnecessary confusion and frustration inside a business. People miss messages. Tasks get duplicated. Questions get answered twice, or not at all, the opposite. And important details, they just get lost in the shuffle. And as you grow and scale your business, those issues multiply. So the more customers you get, the more proposals you send out, the more deals you're working on, the more these internal communication issues multiply and cause issues that can be insurmountable. So today, let's make that simple, calm, and practical, and give you some very great tips on how you can address internal team communication in your business. So, why internal team communication matters so much? It's not just about being polite with each other or staying in touch and knowing what each other are doing. It's about making sure the right people know the right things at the right time. Now, team communication, it works well when tasks move faster, fewer things get missed, people feel more confident in the tasks that they are doing, and the business owner does not have to repeat everything all the time. In fact, the business owner can be largely out of the process when you have really effective internal team communication. When the communication is weak, though, everyone ends up spending way too much time fixing avoidable problems. So you're creating problems to be fixed in addition to serving your clients, getting new clients, all the things that you should be doing in your business. So I want to say this very gently. If communication inside your business has been messy, that does not mean that your team is bad or that your business is doomed to fail. That definitely is not the case. It usually just means that the system for communication is just not strong enough yet. So let's fix that today. Step number 1, choose one main place for communication. Stop scattering information here and there, and someone sent an email, and then there's a sticky note, and I put it on WhatsApp, or I sent a text. So you need one place for all your team communication. There's one place for everyone to look for the latest document, for the latest and most important instruction, and the roles and responsibilities are very clear. So you avoid that duplicate work and work not getting done by anyone because of unclear roles and responsibilities. One of the biggest reasons that communication breaks down is because it happens in too many places. Text messages, email, voice notes, which are awesome, sticky notes, direct messages on social, random calls, and side conversations, just verbal conversations that never get written down or documented anywhere. That's a lot to keep track of. So the first step is to choose one place where all communication happens, where it all lives. So not only in real time, people can see and know what's happening, but you can look back at the history and see and know what happened. And especially if you're trying to make improvements in a process, if you don't know what happened and you can't look back, then it's really hard to fix it. You're kind of grasping at straws at that point if you don't have the history. So it does not have to be perfect. It just needs to be clear and consistent. That's what we're going to start with. Step 2, clarify what type of communication belongs there. So decide what kind of messages are going to be stored and where they go. Not every message needs to live in the same place. For example, urgent issues may need a direct alert. Task updates may belong in your CRM, obviously, that's what we talked about last week, or another project system. Team questions could go in a shared channel, and client-related notes may need to stay attached to the contact record. The beauty is, when you have the right CRM system, all of these things can happen in the same place, in one place. And that's what we're talking about every week here, where you can get one tool and you can solve all of these multiple issues, not just today's issue, but all the 10 or 11 weeks that we've been talking in the past about your business systems can be solved with one onboarding system, one CRM system that we both use in our business, and that is Go High Level. So the point is, you don't have to use the same system we use, but use a system. Reduce confusion by giving each type of communication a home where it belongs. Reinforce this with your team. Model it yourself. Make sure you follow this pattern and reinforce it with them. Point out when they didn't do the communication the correct way and show them again and make sure they're doing it all correctly. Okay. Step 3, be clear and specific. Make communication easy to understand. Throughout all of these teaching weeks, we have really emphasized simplicity. It may seem to you like it has to be very complex to have an effective system that's going to work with your team members. And by the way, your team members, when we're talking about those people today, it does not have to be W-2 employees. It does not have to be full-time people. They don't even have to be employed by your company. They can be 1099 workers. They can even be vendors. Anyone who's on your team that you give them a seat in your CRM software, they can be involved in this team communication and the task assignments that we talked about last week. So, make communication easy to understand. A big part of communication problems comes from vagueness. Instead of saying, "Can you handle that?" you can say, "Can you update the pipeline by 3 p.m. and let me know when it's done?" Instead of saying, "Please follow up," you can say, "Please send the reminder email to all no-shows from today's calls by 5 p.m. and let me know that you did it." So very clear communication with deadlines, instructions, and the how. In that statement, it was send it by email. No other way, send it by email. So very clear instruction. This also reduces the back and forth. When your team member is not clear on how you want this information conveyed or where you want it put or by what time or when, then they might come back and ask you a lot of questions, or they'll do it however they think is right, and it's possibly not going to be the way you wanted it done. Step number 4, use communication to support action. Make messages actionable. Communication should help someone know what to do next. So when you message your team, try to include these things. What happened and what needs to happen, who's responsible, and when it needs done. Include all of that in the same, it can all be in one statement. It can be in 2 or 3 sentences, but put it all together in one message. This keeps messages from becoming just information with no direction. Step 5, reduce unnecessary back and forth. Give enough context the first time. And a caution here, don't prattle on, but give enough information the very first time that they can take action, know that with confidence they're doing it correctly by the right deadline, and they can report back to you. Sometimes team communication feels exhausting because people have to keep asking for more details all the time. One thing I love to use here is, I got this from Dan Martell's book, Buy Back Your Time, fantastic book, and he has a definition of done, the DOD. Every instruction that you give to your team, he suggests, includes a DOD. A definition of done includes, this is what it'll look like, this is how it will feel maybe to people involved, and this is the result. This is the definition of done. When this task is done, this report will be on my desk, printed and bound in 5 copies for me to give to the board members. That would be a definition of done. So then the employee or the team member knows exactly what it looks like, what you want done. And so they're not guessing. So people don't have to keep asking you for instruction when you give a definition of done. So to reduce that confusion on your team member's part, make sure that you include the contact name. If there's a contact involved, generally there's going to be, because your business runs on clients and leads and prospects and contacts. So the contact name, what the task is that they should do, the deadline by 3 p.m. or by Friday close of business, the reason that this task needs to be done, and any special notes related to the instruction. The more complete the message is, the fewer follow-up questions people are going to need to ask you. That saves time for everybody, and frustration and confusion. Step 6, use updates to keep everyone aligned. Create a rhythm for updates. Some companies have a daily stand-up meeting if you're in a same place, or it could be a daily 10-minute Zoom where everyone jumps on, everyone reports what's happening in their department, they jump back off. It literally only lasts 10 minutes. So team communication works better when there's a regular way to check in. So this could look like a daily review, like that stand-up meeting I was talking about, a weekly team meeting, a status board where someone can just look at it any time of the day, any day of the week, and know what's happening. So it's updated constantly. And that can be online or in, like on a big whiteboard in your office, or a task update process in the CRM. You can use any of these or more than one of them in a combination. And I highly suggest you declare one of them as the main, and then the second or third one you use is in support of that one main. Always have one main place where the tasks live, or where the updates live. So the goal is to keep people aligned so they do not have to keep guessing what's happening, what their role is, and what action they should be doing next. Step 7, document important decisions. Do not rely on memory for important details. Not your memory, not anyone else's memory. Important details have to be documented, and they will be your guide when something might go wrong. You can look back and see when we made this decision, why we made this decision, who was tasked to handle it, when it was done, any complications that came along. you'll have all of that documented. And this is a really, really big one. Document big decisions and what happened. You will be really glad that you did. Again, document them all in one place. If a decision matters, then write it down where the team can find it. That might include process changes, client instructions, task updates, or policy decisions, and of course, all of the above. Communication gets a lot easier when people are not trying to remember everything from a conversation that happened 3 days ago or 3 months ago. Number 8. Step 8. Keep the tone respectful and simple. There's that word again. Simple, clear, not complex. Make communication feel safe. People communicate better when they do not feel judged or overwhelmed. There is a thought leadership in business right now that I love, and it lands all responsibility on the boss, the owner, the founder, the manager of the department. And it says, because that person underperformed or did a wrong task or didn't communicate, that's on me. I either didn't communicate myself clearly enough, I didn't outline in writing the proper task in the right order. It's on me. I might need to retrain them. And it can get down to, if you have a really serious issue with an employee, they could be in the wrong seat on the bus. They could be in a role that you thought they were going to be great at, but it's not in their area of strengths and they're struggling. They might do much better in a different role. But that, again, is on me as the leader to identify that. And so people communicate better when they don't feel judged or overwhelmed. So when you're communicating with someone, come at it from the right direction. Of course, it does need to get fixed, and you don't want them to do that same thing again. So you need to be very clear and direct and correct the situation, correct that behavior. But just remember, tone matters. And tone matters, again, from all of our training in the past for managers and leaders. The tone of your voice matters much more than the words you're using, and your body language also matters much more than the words you're using. So tone is important. You want your communication system to feel respectful and clear, calm, and easy to use. You want them to feel safe and confident in their actions as they move through their day. That creates better team trust and a smoother day-to-day operations. So if team communication has been feeling scattered, confusing, or just too dependent on memory, I want you to know that that can be improved, and you have exactly what you need to do that in your own business. So start with one main place for all communication, clear categories, specific messages, action-based instructions, fewer follow-up questions, regular updates, documented decisions, and always a respectful tone. That is how communication starts to actually support the business instead of adding to the chaos. Thank you so much for being here today. You do not need louder communications, okay? You need a clearer communication system, and that is something that we can absolutely build. And remember, here in the Systems Rescue Power Hour, we are building a business that can operate without you. So that concludes the training for today, and we are moving into the question and answer portion of the show. And I am so excited to see Linda and Nellie here in the room with us, and of course David, the co-host. So does anyone have a question? And now remember, It does not have to be related to what we're talking about today. This is any question about any business system that you have or want or you're thinking about.
And Rita, real quick, if I can add to what you said, before we get into questions, I think this will be very helpful for people because we talk a lot about using CRMs, and it's because if you're doing it right and have a CRM set up properly, you're going to have all of your contacts in there. You would hopefully have all your team members in there, and it can be a great place to centralize everything. But the CRM may not always be the most ideal place for people to come check for these communications or what they need to do. So you may need to get that information out to other channels, but have it set up where everything ties back through the CRM or originates out from the CRM and goes out. And to some of what we may have talked on before and probably will touch on in future sessions here is leveraging the automation, existing integrations in the system, in other external automation platforms to supplement where the CRM of choice may not be able to do certain automations, but most will support being able to send out relevant information that can be extracted in other systems to manipulate the data and send it where it needs to go. So probably the best example I have is I know a lot of businesses will use Microsoft Teams internally for communication, which is great, but now everything lives there and now that's separate from your CRM. But what if that data could originate out of the CRM, go there, and potentially have that conversation come back into the appropriate record? A lot of that can be built through automation. So that's something key I wanted to point out. And then there are mechanisms, and especially within Go High Level, where you can build automations that can automatically do an internal notification type where you can send an email, send a text message to a team member that doesn't go to the contact record, but it's based on the certain update you put on a contact record. So just kind of those key things I want to point out as well. I won't go into too many details, but Rita, as you were talking, so many ideas are going through my head on how a system like that could easily be built to really let the CRM be the source of everything and then integrate other channels where it may be more appropriate to do further back and forth conversations.
Yeah, I love that. And I ever since I got certified in the whole overarching automation system, I have adopted this kind of mantra that pretty much yes is the answer. If you want your business systems to do something specific, it's almost always going to be yes. The question, there's two questions involved. How long will it take to build it, fix it, design it, and how much will it cost? But yes, pretty much you're able to do almost anything that you want to do when it comes to managing, gathering leads, nurturing them, managing your customer service, and all of your internal tasks and your internal communications. Pretty much yes is the answer. And I love that. So, all right. Thank you, David. Did anybody here in the room today bring a question for us?
My Rita, mine is more of a comment. As you were talking about communicating with team members and whether they're employees or independents or vendors or whatever, I thought, oh, most of my communication is with my clients, and
Yes.
the same principles apply to dealing with them as well. Make it clear, make it understood. So thank you for.
Yes. And I witnessed this a few years ago. I hired a VA and she was doing my social media posting for me. She designed little graphic things and she used information I gave her about my business and she created all this great stuff. And when she did the onboarding with me, it was over an hour. And she told me, this is our process. You will do this. This is your deadline. This is where it lives. This is where you find it. I will send you reminders. Like she was a taskmaster and she let me know this is what you will do and you
And
will pay us for it. And but it was super helpful because I could plan my weeks around that. I had it on my calendar what I needed to do. Plus, she sent me reminders. So, everything I said about team communication applies, Nellie. Thank you so much. 100% to communicating with your clients as well.
thank you.
All right.
And, and I'll also add, because there are a lot of businesses that are service-based businesses that work in what we call some sort of ticketing system where you're having to track some information. So that may be your day-to-day work for clients, but you'll probably still need your clients in the CRM to track additional opportunities. And so if you have systems like that, you'll also want to make sure you get those tied together to keep all of those client records in sync across the two systems as well. Because I know for me, that's the boat I sit in. So I just want to put that out there for anyone who
Yeah.
may have to work in both the CRM and a ticketing or type of system, because usually your ticketing type of system is not going to have full CRM capabilities.
I was just going to ask that and make sure that that's a point in time where you're going to need an integration between the ticketing system and your CRM. So, and that
Yes.
is something that David builds and specializes in.
Linda has a question.
Well, yes and no. Uh, I am 81 years old and I am semi-retired as an accountant, okay? I have a few accounting clients. They all use QuickBooks desktop software, all right, which may be disappearing soon. We don't know when Intuit will kill it off. One of my clients will be moving to QuickBooks Enterprise Solutions, which Intuit has said they will not kill that off. But it's like instead of spending $2,500 a year for the software, they'll pay $5,000. But this company is almost $1 million in revenue a year, so it certainly can afford that for its accounting system. And then the other people, I don't know, I'm trying to find software they could use. They're like me, they're people that are in their mid to late 70s or early 70s to 80s. And so they want to keep their fingers in it. But all of these people are kind of downsizing. And that's what I'm doing. And I've started a new business, which is a consulting business where I listen to intelligent professionals or business owners, doesn't matter which one, when they want to sort out something and they want to try to figure something out where they need a listening space. They need a listener who's as intelligent as they are and who can pretty much follow what they're saying to provide the space and the bigness of the space that they need. So I'm talking about maybe getting at 3 to 10 clients. That's it. And I will never have a team because no one else, I don't want to try to train anybody to do what I do. I basically have been training for the last 20 years through Landmark Worldwide Education. But I have Go High Level. I think it's an excellent CRM. And what occurred to me when I listened to both Rita and David speak was I was thinking I didn't want to put my contacts in there. I more or less communicate with them however they want to communicate.
Mhm.
And I have to admit it gets a little tiresome because I have contacts all around the world.
Okay.
India, Singapore, New Zealand, Australia, UK, Europe, and Canada and the United States. And I don't speak Spanish yet, but so, but there's text messages, there's Facebook messages, and I go like, now I got a message from Marilyn Burke. Where did she send me that visit? And I'm wondering, do you have any ideas about, would you generally copy and paste it from whatever method that customer used to contact you or prospect, and then copy and paste it into your main system? I'm thinking like that might be the easiest way to handle it. Because I mean, I have a great memory for somebody my age or any age, but it's like, that's the hard part is where did that message come from? I know I had a message and I want to follow up on it, But for me, I need to read it because I have a photographic memory. So
Linda, that is such an excellent question. And that is one of the things that has been or had been driving me crazy about my business.
yeah.
When I have, let's say someone asks you a question, now I have the answer. Now I have to spend 10 minutes trying to figure out where did they ask me that question. But go high level, you already have it and you already have the solution because there is one string of communication between you and that
Oh,
person.
okay.
Phone calls, emails, text messages, Facebook messages, and if they interact with your AI bot on your website and WhatsApp.
None of those.
Well, if they say to you, a lot of international people only use
So
WhatsApp.
does it all go high level if you've got a
Right.
program properly?
David, can you show us? He's got
Yeah,
it queued up. Yeah.
well, let me answer the question, then I'll kind of pull it up. So everything you've mentioned can be integrated in the Go High level. I know the Facebook piece because I have mine set up. You just on the integrations, there's a spot where you just connect your Facebook and it'll pull that in automatically, and then
Perfect.
you can respond right from Go High level. Um,
There's one other thing I'd like to say before you answer, and
sure.
that is I do have a custom GPT that I have been training since January. All right. I'm writing a journal article for a paper, and I am stunned at everything. I asked him what name he would like, and he said Rowan. So that Rowan is my custom
Oh,
GPT, and he is unbelievable. He downloaded all these journals from 2021 through 2025 and brought them all into the library and everything. And he read them for the top three papers of all of those journals. And he, because he's familiar with me and my writing and everything, I haven't written the journal article yet, but I've written lots of chapters for it, which have been uploaded and that. So, and I do know there's a built-in AI in Go High Level, supposedly he can now access Go High Level. So I'm thinking this is really pretty fascinating. Do you work with that too, David?
Yes, I work with Go High Level quite extensively. I do know there is AI in Go High Level. I don't use it because obviously my own AI is trained up just as you've kind of done yours. I've built mine up over years of working with it.
Perfect.
Um, I have not gotten to the point where I've attempted to try and integrate it yet because there isn't a whole lot that I'm doing within Go High Level that I need that in there right now.
Got it.
But again, as Rita said earlier, anything's possible. And I know, and probably what you're looking for here, the term is called an MCP server. And that is what will allow you to connect platforms with the different AI tools. I don't recall if Go High Level has that type of integration yet,
I don't know.
but knowing and how quickly these things are coming out, if it's not there today, it probably won't be far behind.
actually,
Yeah,
someone did share an MCP with me recently for Claude, I think it was.
Claude and Go High Level.
Yeah.
Well,
Yes,
you're more looking to have Go High Level have the MCP server integration, and so once they have it where you can integrate it, then you can pull from whatever AI platform.
Oh, okay. Well, she shared one with me for Go High Level, so I'll share it with you, David, and so you can see what I'm talking about.
Okay,
perfect.
but yeah, so Go High Level probably has something built, or sorry, Chat GPT, but it's a question of does Go High Level have that piece built on their end to tie into the AI tool?
Yes.
Once you have that, then sky's the limit at that point. But yeah,
Fantastic.
let me pull up, and I'll point out a few things in Go High Level. So let me.
Nellie, weren't you thinking of using Go High Level? Although I didn't think you were already using it.
I'm not already using anything, but
Right.
but Excel. And so yes, I have been toying in my mind with do I want to go to Go High Level? Probably the answer is yes. how do I implement that? Well, I'll
Right.
probably have to reach out with Rita.
Yeah, and
Well,
Nellie, it's very important who you buy Go High Level from.
Oh, yeah.
And so you know at least two people that I trust 100%, and one's Dottie Scott has an agency, and I have an agency. David and I are working together to build a
Yes.
brand new agency. And the thing I love about it, while David is loading up the screen, is at any time in the past when I have sold software and represented a software company, my enthusiasm and my promise of quality was always dependent on someone else delivering
Yes.
that quality. And now with this agency, it's on me. I'm in charge. Like I was saying a few minutes ago, it's on me. The quality is I'm delivering it. And I feel so good about that. I don't have to go and ask someone to do a good job. I and my team and my VAs and David, we are the delivery mechanism. And I'm very excited about that. And Dottie Scott, same thing, highest integrity. So you are in good hands either way.
I like the fact that you have a team that's not totally dependent on you, one person.
Exactly.
Because
Exactly.
God forbid something happened to that one
Exactly.
person, I'm
Right.
screwed again.
Yeah. And you know, you need support 24/7. You don't just need support when it's convenient for me or my VA. And so we're going to build in that 24/7 support. So if you're working at 3 a.m. on a Saturday because you just feel like it, you
Or
can get
not likely.
answers to something.
Thank you.
So David's got the screen up, but we're waiting for it to finish loading. So this is the contact record screen for a specific, oh, for me. This is my contact record in David's CRM. So this is his record of all our communications over a couple years. It's all in one place. So he's going to show it to you when that screen loads. What you can see right now, those little orange boxes in the upper left portion, those are
Yeah.
the tags that he has put on my contact record. That helps him find me based on information he knows about me or behaviors I have signed up for something or bought something or attended a webinar. So that's one way that you can sort through your list of people who have or haven't done something, and that's the tagging system that we can see there.
All right, here we
Can
go.
you make
Now,
it a different color than orange with white
So that's a
letter?
good question.
yeah, so the current agency I'm under, this is the branding they've applied, so that's applied from the agency. So I don't
Okay.
have control of that on my end.
Well, it's not unreadable. It's just interesting, is what I usually call those things.
Yeah.
Isn't that interesting?
But yes, I mean, I can even see when Rita has opened an email and when it's just been delivered and unopened. Um, yeah, so I'll just highlight a few things here. So when we talk about, communication, so, and right now on the right-hand side, you're seeing all the activity that, Rita has taken that is able to be tracked by the CRM, because wherever she's gone, there's been some component of the CRM that's able to capture some certain activity that she's done. But what I want to highlight when I'm talking about how you can do some automation and really centralize what's happening, I heavily utilize the notes feature here. So I have a ton of automation um, uh, built in here.
Now, when you say automation, what do you mean by that? Because that can mean a lot of things.
Sure.
So, for example, Rita, when Rita or anyone fills out one of my forms, I have my system built and I put disclaimers on them that, by filling out this form, you're automatically gonna be signed up for our newsletters. So that by submitting that form, that's a trigger to that particular automation to do
Got it.
whatever that automation is. And then in most of those automations, I have another task in there that then triggers the newsletter automation. And within most of my automations, there's a task that actually will append a note. And on a lot of mine, I put, from workflow in the workflow name. So I know this note was added by an automation.
So now let me just clarify this. I believe I'm a little autistic. I'm very bright, but so the automation is something that whoever originally designed Go High Level and continues to keep designing, and it's basically automating a lot of things. So it's built into the code that runs the whole software program.
Well, and I'll show you, but actually either we or you, we can create the automation within your own Go High Level. So
Okay.
when you get Go High Level initially, there's no pre-built automation in terms of at this level. There might be a few, minor system things here depending on what settings you check that don't have like a true workflow you can manipulate. But most of what you see here is I've actually built the actual workflow in Go High Level in the
Uh-huh.
automation module over here that does these actions.
Okay, got it. Yeah, and I'll bet you have years and years of doing that.
Yeah, I've been in Go High Level for over 4 years, probably almost 4.5.
Got it. I apologize. It looks like Nellie dropped off. I don't know whether that's her bandwidth. I
Nope,
was
she's here.
trying to ask questions that not only related to me, but might relate to her and help her understand, because she and I are both in another group too. So,
Sure. But to kind of the comment I made earlier, when I was alluding to you could use this as your central place to communicate with your
yes.
team or whomever needs information. So I'll just kind of give you a high level of my thought process here because the
Yeah.
way Go High Level works is anytime you fill out a form, it has to get associated to whomever the contact information is. So you wouldn't necessarily be able to directly fill out a form, but you can create a grouping of custom fields that can be filled out. And then based on once you fill them out and save the record, that could then trigger an automation, which then you would have the automation put a note. Because the other reason I love using notes is because anytime a field changes, it's not like a true database where you can just go and see what historically was changed about that field. It's not as easy here. So that's why I use note records because now I can see everything from a point in time. And what I like is all the notes automatically get dated and timestamped.
Nice.
And so there's some other things that we would do to, you know, over the years, I've learned how to work around, let's call it limitations of the software. So I
Yes,
kind of make
yes.
it do what I want it to truly do, even though when it doesn't natively support it.
I
So that
got
that's
that one.
yeah. So that's kind of the beauty of figuring out how everything works. You kind of know how to manipulate it. And then talking about the integration, so let me pop over there. Because the other thing I mentioned earlier, I kind of alluded to some external automation. Because what I've learned recently doing some other client projects is as fast as Go High Level is developing their software, they're almost doing so much they can't keep their other parts of the system caught up, mainly
Yes,
automations.
I get
So
that one.
yeah. So so I use an external platform and you can send data out through a webhook, do the manipulation there, and then have the stuff come back in through the API connection and then do it all there. So I've even figured out how workarounds to do something when it's not even officially supported on the API, but that's a whole nother story. So what I want to go to.
Do you know, just offhand, again, this is my degrees in math, and I've worked as an accountant like for the last 20, 25 years. Do you offhand know how many users there are of the Go High Level software?
Probably tens of thousands, if not millions.
Yeah, I'm thinking it's a pretty well used software, but it's a privately held company, not public. It's not traded on the stock exchange.
That I am not positive about.
I don't know that either.
But a
These are
quick,
just, and I'll ask my AI, you
yeah, I
know.
was gonna say
I,
a quick Google search or ask your AI and you'll get that answer.
yes, I know. Thank you.
So let me just make sure I don't need to reconnect anything. But you can see here there's a native integration for Facebook. And so you do
Wow.
that.
LinkedIn, Google count, everything. That's pretty
Yes.
amazing.
So, but LinkedIn, that's lead generation from ads. So it's going to work a little different than Facebook. But Facebook, if you have a business page and people, message your business page, that's when it shows up in here with this integration.
Now I see the WhatsApp. Now, if you connect WhatsApp to it, because I have a lot of contacts around the world in WhatsApp. Now, I guess they would then have to fill in a form or something to become a contact here, or
No, it's strictly by initiating communication. If it doesn't already recognize him as potentially an existing contact, it'll just automatically create a new record, and then you determine, well, is this truly a new contact for me, or is this really an existing contact, but the number on WhatsApp doesn't match what I have, and then you can then just merge the two records.
right now I have absolutely no contacts whatsoever. I mean, basically, the only thing is Dottie Scott built my website in Go High Level.
Okay.
So and it's a beautiful website. It's lindaleelistening.com.
Yeah. So then what it will happen is, if you connect your WhatsApp, people message you, it'll create a new record. Then you just have to go fill out the rest of the information because it's going to just pull the minimal amount of information it needs and what it can verify. Now, I will say the WhatsApp integration is what's considered a premium integration, so that does come with an additional monthly fee.
Oh, okay.
But
That's good to know.
I think I've seen it, and again, I know agencies can kind of set their own pricing, but the average pricing I've seen is, and I think what's recommended from Go High Level is somewhere around $30 a month or so.
Got it. Do you know, are most of them not premium? And how, is there any way like looking at it here on the screen, do you be able to tell? Or you just click connect and then it tells you? Oh,
Yeah, well
this
here,
is another $30 a month or
yeah,
contact.
so you see
And
here
there
I
you
click,
go. Got it.
yeah, and
25. We
so
were
yeah,
very close.
yeah. So the agency I'm under, they set it at 25, but I've seen, well, at one point it was 30, and they may have adjusted their pricing.
Could be. Yeah. And
So
now, and they tell you 3 billion plus users. Of course, I don't have, trust me, I don't have that many in my
yeah,
WhatsApp, but
but I
that's
mean, and
one of
then
the softwares I love because it's on my phone and I can have it on up to I think 6 different devices and it's the same thing. And it's really nice on the computer because when it pops up, I can actually type on my keyboard rather than typing on the phone.
yes. And then also talking about communication, there's a Slack integration. So if you're a business that uses Slack, you can put that in here. I highly recommend, just as we're looking at it, you definitely want to integrate your Google business profile if you have
Which
one.
I don't even have yet. I've got to do that. So
Okay. And again, that's something I'll just say if you need help, which I know most people saying that the first time will, more than likely we can help out with that as well.
got it.
So,
Got
and actually, since I last looked at this list, they've added quite a few things in here too. So they're always adding additional
yes.
integrations.
Yes.
So, oh, and Rita, I know we talked about this before. There's now an native integration with House Call.
That's fantastic. That completely supports a whole niche of mine, my niche of home service providers, contractors, and trade workers. Oh,
I'm a
fantastic.
little curious. What kind of companies would use House Call Pro? Is it for people that send one of their employees out to a location that someone has
Perfect. Yes,
phone?
like plumbers, electricians, all the
Got it.
trades, roofers, contractors. Yes.
That makes sense. That makes a
Oh,
lot
and,
of sense.
and look, Rita, since you use Fathom, you can integrate your Fathom.
Oh,
Yes.
nice. Yeah, I
Yes.
haven't looked at this page for a little while. And go high level, they're always making upgrades and improvements and absolutely weekly and sometimes daily. You'll look at a screen and it'll just be different and it'll have more improvements and more available assets than it had before. And they were always working very hard to constantly improve the software.
Yeah, and you're seeing that right now live as we go through. It's like, hey, this is new to us. That just goes to show. And then actually, there's Something I always like to look at because it almost kind of gives you a preview of what's coming. So if you are a Go High Level
Oh,
user,
yes.
yes, I'll periodically come look at the labs and you can read about, hey, here's what's coming. Some things your agency may automatically turn on. And then some things, if there'll be toggle if it's not on and you want it, you can go ahead and turn it on in here as well. And so it's always very interesting. So it gives you an idea, and then they'll tell you like in how many days that feature will go live. But if you want it now and it's available, you don't have to wait. So
That's pretty interesting. In general, I'm not, I really don't want to be cutting edge there. And I'm writing as a,
Right?
yeah, well, I basically like to work 4 to 6 hours a day and not a lot more. Um, I like to leave plenty of time for reading. I try to read 3 books a week. So I'll read early in the morning when I first wake up and late at night. I like to, and sometimes I read 4 hours a day. That's a lot of time.
yeah,
So
and I'll tell you why it's important to check these things because literally I have a client project where literally this is exactly what I had to build in external automation to do, and lo and behold, this potentially could have saved me from having to do that.
yeah, and it looks like it might have been there a little while. This live in 18 days is
Yeah.
not a very long period. So
Yep.
I'm
Go ahead.
also now getting emails from them that I guess what people who are users are asking for, and they want to know, do I want to ask for that too, kind of thing. And that's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, and yeah, so if you ever have anything or if you're like, hey, I want a feature, you can if you have a Go High Level account, you can go to that thing and you can look and you can upvote stuff. So if you want to contribute to, hey, because a lot of what they do will be based on, what people are putting in there and upvoting. But always try and look to see if there's something similar to what you want before you just put something new. Because obviously the more people in one thing, the more attention it'll get from them.
Yes, yes.
So
So
it's just
before we get
again, yeah,
before we finish, I did want to go back to the contact record and show that center screen and all several of the things that we've been talking about, like a conversation on WhatsApp,
Yeah.
a conversation in Facebook Messenger, someone interacting with your bot, when someone purchases something, when someone
yeah. And
schedules
actually, I
an
have
appointment.
I have a better record where I can show some of that.
They're
Um,
all in that center section of the screen, and it's
Yeah,
just
let
so
Rita at
wonderful.
least show us that, because you have to understand both Nellie and I are real beginners. So she hasn't started using it yet. And I haven't, I've been paying for it for over a year. I like a year and 3 months, and I still don't have one customer. So so as soon as I get this journal article written and submitted by the end of August, this really needs to be my focus. But I don't want to hound prospects to become my customers. What I want to do is attract my tribe.
Perfect. And this
Okay.
is a tool that you can use to attract them. And of
Yeah,
course,
and I
lead
can
magnet
do,
is the word. Lead magnet is your saying the right words, appearing in the right places with the right imagery to attract them. And it pulls them right in and then starts to nurture them the way, saying the things
yes,
they want to hear, communicating in the way they want to be communicated with, all on autopilot. So Linda doesn't have to carry all that around in her head.
right, right. Well, it's going to be in my head anyway, but I don't worry about it or anything. It's just, that's kind of a nice thing. The other thing is I am also planning, hate to say this, but at 81 years old, at some point I'm going to leave planet Earth. I have no idea when, you know, uh, but I want to be ready so that the people who are here afterwards closing down shop, although obviously people I'm working with will be aware of it because I'll be letting them know. Well, if I can, we don't always know whether we can or not.
Right.
Exactly.
Some
Right.
people leave suddenly,
Mhm.
even very, very young people. So thank you. This has been excellent. And I definitely will be back. And I'm really looking forward to using Go High Level. And if I could get myself a few customers, I could actually pay for your services. So,
All right. So it's a cycle. You need the software to manage the customers, and you need the customers to pay for the software. I get it.
yeah, that's that. What else is new, right? But that's part of the fun of life. And thank you so much for this. I do happen to have three webinars in a row, 9, 10, and 11 today.
Okay.
So I'm going to run.
Well, we
But
are honored that you came to ours, and thank you for being here and all your amazing questions.
Thank you, Linda.
thank you very
It was good
much.
for me
And
too.
I really look forward to that. Yes, um, to next week. I have it on, and if there's not something opposite that's like somehow a nudge higher, I'll be here. Thank you.
Fantastic.
And I'll see if I can find some other people maybe to bring, to get them to sign up to come. Because pretty amazing. Thank you
And
so
we
much.
do talk a lot about Go High Level because we both use it. We both recommend it. However, this is what we're teaching works
Is
for HubSpot and Keep and every other CRM
Yes,
out there, MailChimp. What we're teaching are concepts that work in your business, whatever
yes,
system you have.
that's right. That's right. Thank you. Nice to meet you, David, and nice to see you again, Nellie.
Thank you,
Bye-bye.
Linda.
All right.
Bye, Linda. Okay, Nellie. Whew, was that a drinking from a fire hose?
Yes, it was, but it was a very, very good Q&A between Linda and David.
Very good.
Yeah,
Very good. Yes. And I hope that even though it's a lot to take in, you know that either way you go, you're going to be in really good hands with the your agency and your Go High Level. Now,
yeah,
for someone to actually build it out for you, that costs on top, of course, buying the software. It's designed to build yourself. However, most of the people that buy it are not, they don't know how to customize it and build it out. And so that's why people like David and I exist. And that's why it just brings.
Ooh.
Rita, I don't know if you can hear us, but you froze.
At least she froze with a good expression.
Yes.
Oh.
All right. Well, I know we've got just a couple minutes left. So are there any other questions or comments?
Well, my question would be if David, if you and Rita work together, who would I enroll through for this Go High Level
So it
platform?
would be through Rita because she's the one running the agency. But then I would be there as part of that. Either there's going to be, we're still, working at all the kind of the little nitty-gritty details, but there will be specific components that I would come in and help with or advise on. And a lot of what I'm going to be bringing is, some additional services that, anyone can elect to have or add that a fair number of them will have direct impact on your use of the CRM or how things function.
Thank you. Well, right now, it would just be for me and my individual clients. But the objective would be to add marketing to go out and reach other people who want to buy my online services, which is different than what I give my one-on-one clients. I'm in the income tax business. I want to serve my clients, but I also want to expand and reach through teaching other people. They might have their own preparer, but I've got knowledge that they don't have. So
It's true.
that's the
And you can
key.
use the CRM to help you with that marketing. Because obviously, as we've talked about, you can do your email outreach, the email marketing. caveat there is you have to get people to opt in and get their permission. But the other thing is there is a social media manager and posting tool within the CRM that's built in, so you can use that to be, managing, creating, and scheduling out your social media posts for additional ways to kind of market and advertise.
Thank you very much, David. I appreciate the call, and I'll see you next week.
All right.
Okay,
Look forward to it.
bye-bye.